I want you to contemplate on this statement by Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab in Kitab al-Tawheed. He says, المسألة الثانية التنبيه على الإخلاص لأن كثيرا لو دعا إلى الحق فهو يدعو إلى نفسه. He says that many people, even though they might call to the truth, they're in essence, in reality, calling to themselves. That's what they're calling to. They're not calling to the truth. And Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen said in explanation of this, اللي يدعو إلى الله والذي لا يريد إلا أن يقوم دين الله. The one who's calling to Allah, he doesn't want anything but that the religion of Allah is established. That's all he wants. That's his only objective. That the religion of Allah is established. I don't care if it's through my hands, through somebody else's hands, someone else takes the credit. I don't care. As long as Allah's religion is established, as long as Tawheed is established, Sunnah is established, people are following the Salaf. I don't care. That's my objective. That's the one that calls to Allah. وَالَّذِي يَدْعُو لِنَفْسِهِ, the one that is calling to himself. Who is he? He is the one who wants his statement to be taken and followed in all circumstances. It's like, you have to agree with me. I say this, you have to agree with it. Okay? If you don't agree with it, no. You're not someone who follows our da'wah. Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen says, this is the one who's calling to himself. Do you see the difference? There are many more differences. I'm going to give you more, inshallah. But this is the one Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen mentioned here. Okay? Which is the one who calls to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All he cares is the religion of Allah is established. I don't care. Through me, through someone else, I don't care. The one who's calling to himself, he wants his statement to be followed. He wants everyone to agree with him. That's his objective. Regardless what direction he takes. He goes left, everybody goes left. He goes right, everyone goes right. That's what he wants. And that's what he's calling to. He is the one that's calling to himself. Even if, like Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab said here, even if he's calling to the truth, as in, even if he wants everybody to follow him on his statement, and his statement happens to be the truth. Don't get me wrong. Let's say he himself, what he's calling to, it's the truth. But he wants people to follow the truth because he said it. He wants people to follow that truth or that position because it's his position. He, like Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab, he says, كثيرا لو دعا إلى الحق, even if they call to the truth, فهو يدعو إلى نفسه. In reality, he's calling to himself. He's not calling to the truth. I'm going to give you another example. This is a statement by Ibn Badis, who's one of the contemporary Algerian scholars that died recently. And he died in the 1900s. I'm going to read the statement to you, inshallah. Okay? What does he say? قال تعالى قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني. So regarding this ayah, he said, so this question is basically, how do we know the difference between the two? Because like we said, they might be calling to the same thing. Both of them are calling you to Salafiyyah. This one is saying, follow Salafiyyah, follow Tawheed, follow Sunnah. He is saying the same thing. But one of them is calling to Allah and the other one is calling to himself. How do you know the difference? Okay? طبعا if he's calling to misguidance, that's easy. Okay? But it can happen that somebody is calling to the truth, but he doesn't have ikhlas. You don't know that. Okay? So what are the signs that someone is calling to himself or not really to the religion of Allah? He says, ليس كل من زعم أنه يدعو إلى الله يكون صادقا في دعواه. Not everyone that claims to call to Allah is truthful in his claim. Okay? فلا بد من التفرقة بين الصادقين والكاذبين. We have to differentiate between the truthful ones and the liars. والفرق بينهما مستفاد من الآية بوجهين. And the difference can be benefited from this verse from two aspects or from two angles. الأول, the first angle, أن الصادق لا يتحدث عن نفسه. The truthful one, he doesn't talk about himself. ولا يجلب لها جاها ولا مالا. Neither is he looking for reputation or wealth. ولا يبغي لها من الناس مدحا ولا رفعا. Neither is he looking for people's praise or his status or his rank or his status to be lifted. أما الكاذب فإنه بخلافه. But the liar, he is the exact opposite. فلا يستطيع أن ينسى نفسه في أقواله وأعماله. He can't forget himself when it comes to his statements and his actions. All the time he's talking about his statements, his actions. I did, we did that, we did this, we are the ones that did this, 24/7. Talking about himself and his achievements and the things that he's done. He can't forget that. وهذا الفرق من قوله تعالى إلى الله. And this difference is benefited from Allah's statement, ilallah. Ad'u ilallah, I call to Allah, i.e. ikhlas. Okay? I'm not calling to myself. The second aspect, or the second difference that can be benefited from this ayah to differentiate between the one who's calling to Allah and the one who's calling to himself is that أن الصادق يعتمد على الحجة والبرهان. The truthful one, the thing that he relies on is the proofs. Okay? So when he makes a point along with the proofs. That's the thing that he relies on. That's the thing that he returns people back to. فلا تجد في كلامه كذبا ولا تلبيسا. So you don't find in his speech any lies or any deception. ولا ادعاء مجردا. Neither do you find him to just make, open claims like that, just general claims. This is like that because I said it. No. If he makes a statement, it's accompanied by the proof. Because he doesn't expect you to take his speech because he said it. He's not like, this is the truth. Okay? Understood? That's not how he speaks. For him, it's like, this is the truth because Allah said. This is the truth because the Prophet said. This is the truth because the companion said. Why? Because he doesn't even expect you to take his statement without proof. He knows that his statement is not worth to be taken if it's not based on proof. Whereas the one who's calling to himself, constantly boasting about it, his followers, he knows that he's cultivated them in a state whereby he can make whatever claims that he wants without them asking for proofs. So he doesn't even need to back his statements with proofs because his followers will never ask him for it. Okay? So he mentions that the truthful one, we said, he doesn't make claims like that. He bases it on proofs. ولا تقع من سلوكه في دعوته على التواء ولا تناقض ولا اضطراب. So you don't find any contradictions in his statements. Okay, and in his positions, there's no contradictions. He's calling to one thing, he's got proof for it, and he sticks to that. وأما الكاذب, the liar, the fake one, فإنه بخلافه, he's the opposite. فإنه يلقي دعاويه مجردة. He throws his statements like that. His claims, the claims that he makes, he just throws them like that. This is the way it is. This is that, and he just keeps on making claims. Never does he return it back to truth, to any proof. ويحاول تدعيمها بكل ما تصل إليه يده. And he tries to establish his statements whichever way he can. Either he'll talk about his high status, either he'll talk about the scholars that he sought knowledge from, either he'll talk about his experience. I've been doing da'wah for 30 years, that's my experience, that's why you should accept what I say. Either he talks about his age, I am 60, I'm 70, look at my beard, it's become white in da'wah, that's why you have to accept it. You're younger than me, I'm older than you. He will try anything that he can to give substance to his claims. But he can't give any proofs because his statement is not based on proof. Okay? So, يحاول تدعيمها بكل ما تصل إليه يده. Anything that he can get to try and support his statement, he'll go to it. Like we gave many examples. ولا يزال لذلك في حنايا وتعاريج لا تزيد إلا بعدا عن الصراط المستقيم. He'll continue like that and it will only further him away from the straight path. وهذا الفرق من قوله تعالى على بصيرة. And this difference, we benefit from Allah's statement على بصيرة, upon knowledge, i.e. upon proofs. So the one that calls to Allah, okay, to summarize, the one that calls to Allah, yes, he doesn't talk about himself, he doesn't lift his status, he just gives the haqq the way it is. And when he gives it with proofs. He's the one that's calling to Allah, he wants to connect you to Allah. The one who's calling to himself, he doesn't want to connect you to Allah, he wants to connect you to him and his personality. So what does he do? He continuously always boasts about his achievements and his knowledge and what level he's at. So that connection becomes stronger between you and him. And when he makes a statement or he makes a claim, he never brings the proof because he doesn't want you to be connected to the proof. He wants you to blindly follow him. So he's not going to give you proof. Rather, he wants you to be connected to him. Okay? That's the difference, the main difference between the one who calls to Allah and the one that calls to himself. Some of the other differences, if you like, just I'll mention it quickly, is for example, the one who's calling to himself, he will have a level of hizbiyyah to him, whereby he wants you to love and hate people for his sake. Okay, he likes to be put forth. He likes shuhra. He likes fame. He belittles others and their achievements. Okay, so when he sees other people achieving greater things in da'wah or whatever, he'll belittle them and be like, no, forget them, man. You know, we've done much more. They've got nothing with them. Constantly, he tries to bring others down. He backbites others as well to bring them down. Okay, why? Because he sees that as a threat to what he has achieved. He doesn't want anyone to know the truth except through him. Okay, so if someone's going to find out about Tawheed and Salafiyyah, whatever, it has to be through me. We have to have some kind of hand in that. We have to be able to control that. So you want to give da'wah, you have to give da'wah under our umbrella. Okay? Because it has to, whatever good things that you do, it has to come back to us. We have to be able to benefit from it. Our reputation has to be able to benefit from it. That's the one who's calling to himself. Another tactic, another thing that you can use to differentiate between the one who's calling to Allah and the one who's calling to himself. The most important point I want you to remember here is that you cannot differentiate between the one who calls to Allah and the one who calls to himself by just looking at what he's calling to. La. Because both of them might be calling to the truth. Okay? And you can never give 100% judgment anyway. All of these examples or these differences that we're mentioning is not for you to start labeling people and be like, he's calling to Allah, he's calling to himself. Like, you can't do this. It's not possible. This is something that takes place in the heart, my dear brothers and sisters. This is in the heart. But the reason the scholars, they mention these differences is for you to be cautious. For you to make up your mind who it is you want to seek knowledge from, who it is you want to be associated with, who it is that you want to trust with your religion. Okay? So, don't go about labeling people being like, oh, he's calling to Allah because he's got these signs. He's calling to himself because he's got these signs. La. But this is for you to benefit from yourself.